Peace.
Hey.
What's up, you guys? It's Ariam.
And Yodit.
And you're tuned in to deuxsol Radio.
That's right. Your favorite twins are back talking all things music and culture.
Because two takes are better than one, but twin takes
are even better.
And we're back with another episode.
Yes.
And before we start our episode, we have an announcement. You are listening to an award-winning podcast. Yay! Thanks to you all and your votes and your support, we have won the Silver Award at the Signal Awards for Best Co-Host Team for a Pop Culture Podcast.
So grateful for everyone that voted and spread the word and just supported us when we first got nominated and then later found out we were finalists. So to all the listeners and all the fans and all the people that have showed us love, we are so grateful to say that a platform that we created in college, in our dorm rooms, has evolved into a full-blown podcast that's now award-winning. It's very surreal.
It's very crazy.
Very, very crazy. But we feel really blessed and grateful and even more inspired to keep doing what we do.
We're just excited to keep providing you your music and pop culture fix.
Yay!
So yeah, let's get into this episode. Not everyone was blessed enough to have this gift. And the gift is a secret trailer for the Mean Girls musical movie.
Yes. If y'all have been on TikTok lately, you've seen people react to this trailer.
We are obsessed with Mean Girls.
Yes.
I mean, this movie to us is everything.
It's our Roman Empire.
Yes.
It's definitely one of those teen cult classics for our generation.
Yes.
I feel like we grew up and we always heard, 80s kids having their own cult classics.
Yeah, like Pretty in
and
Pink,
90s
16 Candles.
Right.
But this was ours, you know, and it's so quintessential Y2K. And we have always been obsessed with it. I could literally put it on right now and watch it from start to finish and be highly entertained.
Yes. It's one of those movies that you've watched so much because it's aged so well.
Yes.
That, I mean, some of the jokes, maybe not so much, but it's one of those movies that, if someone puts a gun to your head and they tell you, you need to recite a movie from start to finish, line for line, which movie would it be? I think this falls in that category for us.
Right.
And so needless to say, we are obsessed with the movie and a lot of us girls are. For those of you who have been following the success of the movie, y'all would know that the movie later became a Broadway musical that ended up being a hit. And so from that transition, there's been fandom around it, and they decided to make a film adaptation of the Broadway musical.
It's really cool because the creator, Tina Fey, is heavily involved in it.
Yeah.
And she's reprising her role as Miss Norbury.
I can't.
So that's pretty cool. Tim Meadows, who's also reprising his role as Principal Duval, which he's hilarious in that movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they have some new great actors that are also being added to the cast. John Hamm will be playing Coach Carr.
I can't.
Which I feel like if anyone were to play him, it would be him.
Yeah.
You know? And then Busy Phillips will be playing Regina's mom.
I can't.
Which,
listen.
That's enough. Enough said.
I mean, let's take a pause. Amy Poehler as Regina's mom was so good.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I love Busy Phillips too, so it would be interesting to see what her interpretation of the character is, but you got to show love to Amy Poehler.
Every time she was on the screen, she stole it, you know?
She was a scene stealer.
Well, the actor that we're really excited to see is Renee Rapp, as she will be reprising her role as Regina George.
Yes.
And she first played her on the Broadway musical, so she already has the vocal chops. She has the acting chops. We've seen her in plenty of projects.
Yeah.
And so it'll be exciting to see her just step back into those shoes again.
I think it's cool that that's happening because, typically when we see like Broadway musicals get adapted into film, it's pretty rare when the actual star of the Broadway show stars in the film. So it's cool to see that, she's going to be taking on the role on film.
So the only thing that stood out to us in this 41-second trailer was the costume design.
Yeah.
In the trailer, there's a scene where the plastics are walking and Regina George is wearing a pink mesh top, pink cargo pants, and black combat boots. And to me, I just didn't feel that fit Regina at all. And I don't know if it's because they're trying to cater to like the Gen Z audience with that type of fashion.
Yeah.
Because that's something that kids would wear today, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we watch Mean Girls, they were the it girls.
Yeah.
Okay. They had money.
Yeah.
They were spending it. They had designer clothes,
Mm-hmm.
mini skirts,
Yeah,
heels. And, you know, they were just such girly girls. I just never saw them in something like cargo pants.
Yeah, I think the only time we see any of the characters really wearing pants, I know Katie wore jeans. I know when Regina started, quote unquote, gaining weight, she wore sweat. A huge turning point in the movie where Katie's revenge is really sticking.
Yeah.
But she was wearing like Juicy Couture sweats. It was still
exactly.
It's the velour, you know, it still fell in line with the character.
Right. We have not seen the entire movie. Maybe there'll be more nods to that quintessential Y2K fashion that existed in the original film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't know. We've only seen a snippet of this
true.
film. So maybe they might do some more nods. Who knows?
And they do have an advantage. Y2K is back.
I know. And that's what I was saying. Like, this is the time to tap into the resurgence of the fashion, right? Mm-hmm. Like, this is the time now more than ever, really. But other than that, we're really excited. It's supposed to drop in 2024, and maybe we'll get the full trailer soon.
I'm excited. I'm definitely going to support. Speaking of movie musicals, this actually inspired us to go down a list of our favorite Broadway shows that have been adapted into film. And so we actually went through like a few that we really, really liked.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to share. Starting off with one of our faves. From the talent, from the music, from the costume design, the one, the only Dreamgirls. Now, before we get into why, we just need to talk through the star-studded cast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have Jamie Foxx. You have Anika Noni Rose.
Mm-hmm.
You have Eddie Murphy. We love a dramatic Eddie. We love a dramatic and a comedic Eddie in a film.
The range.
Vocals. Thank you, Ariam.
This is our favorite version.
We love Eddie, but he showed his range, his full range in this film. And then, of course, you have Beyonce. Yeah, you have Beyonce. And then you have Jennifer Hudson in her breakout role as Effie White. I'm sorry. Like, this movie was destined for greatness, just with the cast alone. Because from the acting abilities, from the singing abilities, the way each of and every cast member morphed and dedicated themselves to each character.
Absolutely, yeah.
So amazing. 10 out of 10. I mean, we're still recovering from it, and this was back in 2006. I remember the first time we watched it. It was like Christmas, 2006. We went to the movie theaters.
Oh, it premiered.
It premiered on Christmas.
I thought you said it was like Christmas.
No, it was on Christmas.
I mean, it did feel
and I remember my little self being blown away by what I was watching. And there's just so much to talk about, but the movie and the plot itself is honestly really, really interesting. It follows this girl group in the 60s. They're trying to make their break. They get discovered at an amateur night by Curtis, who is a car salesman at the time. Curtis played by Jamie Foxx. And he presents himself as their manager and basically gives them a shot to sing backup for Jimmy, who is played by Eddie Murphy. And he is like the star, star artist. The girls, they're only like almost.
I think they're teenagers.
They're almost teenagers. They're teenagers. They're trying to get their break. And they finally get an opportunity to sing backup for Jimmy. And you see their evolution. You see all the challenges that they go through navigating the music industry. When Effie was lead and she really did have the strongest vocals.
Right.
And then because Dina, played by Beyonce, appeared a particular way, things got shifted because they felt like they needed to appeal to a certain image,
right,
which created tension and all of that. And the songs that you go through to help tell that story are so thought out. They have so much energy.
They just have so much talent, and every song is exciting. Like you said, the movie came out in what, 2006? So it's 2023. And sometimes every now and then I revisit the musical. Even all these years later, it's giving.
It's giving.
Yeah.
It's giving. And it was a hit on Broadway, but to see their interpretation of it on film,
Yeah.
and from the direction, from the set design, the costume design, I mean, they were fully committed. And the movie still holds up. It looks as though it was made in 2023.
All the songs are good. You know, Make Your Way to the Top.
Yes.
Step Into the Bad Side. One Night Only, both versions.
Yes.
Because you have the one where Effie's
Effie.
singing it after she's very,
Mhm.
going through this rough time.
Mhm.
But then you have like the dancer version that the Dreamettes sing. And you're like, oh, wait, I like this one too. Am I not
Yeah.
supposed to like this?
The disco version does slap. I hate that I love it so much.
Because it's supposed to be like-
I'm supposed to not love
They
it.
took the song from Effie. So you're
Mhm.
supposed to be upset, but like it goes.
Yeah, and the scene with the choreo, and yeah, no, they did a great job.
But you know our favorite song.
I know what our favorite song is, Ariam. Yeah.
It's
All
All
Over.
Over.
Okay, can we just talk about It's All Over really quickly? Because that scene is the climax of
It
the
is.
movie. Like, there's so much tension building up to this moment. You know, Effie's learning that she's getting kicked out of the group after she's been airing her frustrations, and she, stopped showing up to rehearsals, and she was not feeling that well. And so they decided to replace her without her consent. And everyone turns on Effie. The tension, the emotions, the
And everybody brought it.
vocals, everybody. And this is when the entire cast, well, besides Jimmy, is in one scene.
Yeah.
And they're all giving it. And when I tell you, they did such an amazing job. That scene is always ingrained in my head. Like,
Yeah. And I feel like, remember when you were saying how Beyonce was like kind of holding back
mhm.
the entirety of the film, besides the song Listen towards the end?
Yeah.
You heard that growl in her
Yeah.
verse. And I was
Yeah.
like, she's back.
She's back. Sasha Fierce is out.
She's like, I'm going to have to pop in.
Which it was actually very perfect for the character at that point of the
If you
scene.
know this musical, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
When she starts stepping up to Effie,
Yeah.
we hear a little growl. I'm like,
Okay, Dina. Okay.
so you got a little bark.
Yeah. Yeah. She got a little bass right there. So yeah, that scene is so good. And then of course it is a lead in to the iconic And I Am Telling You,
Mm.
I'm Not Going.
That transition.
Whew. Jennifer Hudson. This was her first film she ever starred in.
Yeah.
Like her breakout film.
I remember. That was a big
And
deal.
like, I mean, how daunting could it have felt to take on the role of Effie White after Jennifer Holliday originated and like killed the role?
Established
like
the role.
Like,
Established
that
the
is
role.
and it's not even just that. That song is like it is Dreamgirls. Like it is synonymous
Right.
with the Broadway show.
Every
Like,
every musical has that one song that
Mhm.
is tied to the identity of a
Yeah.
musical. And
And
that's
she-
absolutely it.
and she was so young, and when she got up there and put her heart in that scene, that song. First of all, that song is very hard to sing.
You can even tell towards the end when she has that little
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she's
When she
recording.
She's gasping for
And that
air,
is a
just
re-
like Jennifer Holliday did.
That's how you know that song is not for the weak.
It is not.
And she absolutely delivered. And I always remember back when Oprah was on the air and they did that whole cast interview.
Yes.
And she was the new actress, right? So it's
Mhm.
introducing Jennifer Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this was following her attempt to win American Idol. I remember the critiques that she would receive from Simon. She did her best, and he was basically saying that she should maybe consider a different career.
Mm-hmm.
And when she got this critical acclaim for this role and Oprah gave her the cosign,
Yeah.
I remember he submitted a video apologizing
Yep.
for his comments about her talent
Mm-hmm.
and said that he was really proud. And I know that was so rewarding for
I
her
know.
inside. She ended up winning an Academy Award for her role,
Mhm.
and she was well deserved of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, That's why it's up there.
Yeah.
Dreamgirls is
up there. And Eddie Murphy did win a Golden Globe.
he
for his
did,
performance.
and he was nominated for an Oscar for the same role too.
Yeah, he
so.
should have won that Oscar, but
Yeah, but at
I
least
digress.
like at least he was recognized though.
He was. And yeah, shout out to the whole cast. I mean, that movie was so good.
Yes.
And that's why it's on our list.
Next, we're talking about Mamma Mia. I find this musical so interesting because it took all these ABBA songs and were able to create this story. And the story follows this girl named Sophie, and she lives on an island in Greece with her mother, and she discovers a journal, a diary, if you will, that used to belong to her mom. And she talked about all of these past flames and in past summer romances that she had with 3 different men. And when Sophie was doing the math, she realized that one of these gentlemen could be her father.
Right.
She is about to get married, and her dream was to always meet her father and have her father walk her down the aisle. And so, hiding this from her mother, she decides to secretly invite 3 possible fathers to the island for the wedding. They all showed up, and each of these men do not even know why they're there. They believe that Donna, the mother, personally sent a letter to them inviting them over to Greece. So they came for Donna, but really Sophie was the mastermind and invited them all. And so she's trying to figure out who could be the father, trying to have these conversations with them and bond with them. And of course, you hear the amazing songs throughout the musical. I've always just been drawn to the visual of the movie because it's just so stunning.
Yeah.
And they're on an island and on a beach, and it's just,
everyone is glowy.
Everyone is glowy. And the cast is, again, star-studded. You have Meryl Streep, you have Colin Firth, you have Amanda Seyfried. The list goes on. And they just surprised me. I didn't even know Amanda could sing before that movie. I'd never seen her sing. I'd never seen Meryl sing prior.
Yeah.
Maybe she has in the past, but that was my first time seeing her.
She would dabble in singing.
Yeah.
So in some of the movies that she was in.
Yeah. And, I mean, we grew up listening to ABBA. Our aunt had a whole bunch of ABBA CDs. And to see it come to life and to fit so perfectly in the storytelling is just...
Jukebox musicals could be a hit or a miss.
Yeah.
But like you said, Ariam, it really depends on how the story is written and how the songs are woven in. And to your point, they did a really good job. So yeah, I mean, there's so many good songs like Voulez-Vous.
Yes. That dance scene in Voulez-Vous.
Yeah. Honey, honey, gimme, gimme. And it's crazy because of TikTok, it's given like new life to these songs. Because a lot of the songs from the movie have been circulating as audio. Like different audios for like transitions and stuff.
Yeah, like Dancing Queen, there's a soundbite that I didn't even realize was from the musical because I was like, who's screaming like that in the beginning? And then I actually rewatched the musical and I realized, oh, that's from the movie.
Yeah.
But they kept the whole scene.
Yeah.
And then they start singing Dancing Queen. I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
Even like Slipping Through My Fingers. Like there's a lot of songs from the movie that have just found its way on TikTok.
And then, of course, Lay All Your Love on Me.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because that was one song I didn't know before the movie. And when I saw that scene, I was like, wait, I think this is my song. Because Dominic and Amanda,
they ate.
The chemistry.
It looked fun to shoot. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Which is why this is definitely one of our faves.
I think we had to bring up Hairspray.
Yes.
The musical.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember in 2007 when this dropped, a lot of great musicals came out.
The 2000s, there was a lot of movie musicals that came out.
And I remember when they had announced that the Hairspray movie musical was being released, how big of a deal it was because it was so star-studded.
Yeah.
Like, it's a large ensemble cast. Of course, you have Nikki Blonsky, you have John Travolta, Michelle Pfeiffer, you have Christopher Walken, you have Amanda Bynes, you have Allison Janney, Zac Efron, who was huge then.
Fresh off the High School Musical train.
Queen Latifah, of course, James Marsden, which we'll get to in a second. And you'll know.
I already know what you're going to say, Ariam.
So, of course, it's a star-studded cast. But what I really appreciated about it was that everyone had talent.
Yeah.
Everyone could sing, dance, act in this musical. Like,
period.
and I remember thinking that then, and I stand by that. Like, I do. And if you don't know about the musical, it takes place in the 1960s, Baltimore. And Tracy Turnblad is this teenager who is an aspiring dancer and wants to be on this show, the Corny Collins show, which is like a teen dance competition show. She auditions and makes it, and she becomes this overnight success.
Yeah.
And she becomes a style icon, and
she becomes a local celebrity.
A local celebrity, yeah. And during her time there, she meets Motorbouth Maybelle, who is played by Queen Latifah, and she hosts Negro Day, which, there's that. But
this is definitely
but this is
during the
1960,
era. Yeah.
so she is the host of Negro Day, and once a month they're able to perform with an all-black cast. And she meets her son Seaweed, and they click right away, and she realizes that why can't we integrate? Why can't we dance together? We're all so talented. There's a little bit of, her, getting involved in racial integration. The musical is great. The dancing, the songs, costume design, the set design really takes you to that place, but also it's super vibrant. Some of the songs that we have to talk about that were so good in this musical, first I have to talk about Run and Tell That.
Period.
Elijah Kelly, and I believe he was a fresh face at the time. I think he was like just coming up. This is probably like one of his bigger roles. He sang down.
Yeah. I mean, his vocal range, crazy.
Yeah.
His dancing, insane. He was literally he is a full-blown entertainer, but for that character, he really showed out.
Yodit and I had not seen the musical prior. So, of course, there's those songs that you already know about, but that was a song I had not heard yet.
Yeah.
So, from our experience watching it, we were watching Run and Tell That for the first time, and I was just glued to the screen. I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
He's killing it.
Yeah.
He can sing, dance, act, and just delivered.
I just love that song because it's just such a beautiful song. Like, pro-black.
Yes.
Like the line that always stuck to me was like, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You
Yes.
always hear it like in conversation, in culture, but to hear him sing it on a mainstream film
he sang
it. It just hit a little different. It hit a little different. And yeah. He let him know that he was here to stay. So perfect casting there.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have casted anyone else.
Yeah. And then, of course, Michelle Pfeiffer, she sang down a Miss Baltimore Crab.
She's a musical girly.
But what I liked about her is that she played evil so
good.
well. Like, so sinister. And she was like, Tracy, you're not about this. And I'm going to let you know I was a former Miss Baltimore Crab. Prior to watching Hairspray, the movie musical, we didn't know that James Marsden could sing. And he sings earlier in the musical. You're like, oh, okay, like he can sing. Okay, you're like, all right, cool. But towards the tail end of the movie, when he sings, it's Hairspray. So he's singing, he's doing his thing. And towards the end of the song, he does this one run. And I remember Yodi and I looked at each other. We're like, wait, this is tickling my brain. Like, what? James? Is that you?
It was so good. I was like, okay, take us to church then. I was not expecting that. And everyone reacts the same way.
I'm not even going to try to redo it because I wouldn't even do it justice, but you just have to see it. Just towards the end of that song, he does a run. Like one of the last lines he sings.
And it's so smooth. I was like, okay, James. I see you, James.
I was like, okay, he can sing.
Yeah, he can sing.
And so that was like a pleasant surprise watching that for the first time. And even anytime I rewatch now, I look forward to that part.
I know.
It's such a short part, but
it was such a pleasant surprise. And I think I saw a TikTok circling around with it recently of somebody saying the same thing.
Really?
Like,
okay, so
we are not alone.
It is not just us.
No, we are not alone. The girls know. They know. So yeah, definitely a pleasant surprise.
And then of course, the grand finale, You Can't Stop the Beat, featuring the entire cast. That was a grand finale. I mean, everyone brought their A game.
Yeah.
They were playing no games.
You can't stop to breathe. That's what they should call it, because everyone delivered. And you have to for that scene.
And it just got, every time a person started singing, it got better and better and better. And everyone brought it. Okay, Queen Latifah,
Mm-hmm.
Nikki Blonsky, Elijah Kelly,
Yep.
John Travolta playing Mrs. Turnblad.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone was so entertaining in that scene, and I just love how it continues to elevate
And build.
and
The build
build.
is crazy.
Yeah. And it's just like the perfect finale song. I think it still is a timeless musical. I feel like you can still hear it and be just as entertained as the first time you'd seen it.
Yeah.
And that wraps up our list. We love music and we love film, and we love when the two are combined in that way. So
Yeah.
this was an exciting episode for us. That wraps up today's episode. If you like what you heard, you can keep up with us on our socials at DEUXSOL. That's at deuxsol. You can watch us on YouTube, and you can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. If you can hear it, we'll be on it. Until next time, guys. Peace.